What's up guys, Greeny, and today I'm going to give you my review of my time living in Central Pattaya. I spent 6 months living in Central Pattaya. I lived right here at the Grand Avenue, and I'm going to give you the highlights, the lowlights, tell you what my final thoughts were of living in Central Pattaya for 6 months. I moved away now. I'm about, I don't know, half hour, 35 minutes away from here now, and we can still come here all the time when we want to because we have a car, but I'm going to give you an honest review of my observations, my thoughts, and all that of living right in this area. This is Soy Bukaw 15, and Soy Bukaw's at the corner of it. All right, so I've been asked a lot of questions in the comments about my feelings on Pattaya after living there 6 months, and more specifically, my feelings about living at the Grand Avenue for 6 months. So first, let's talk about Pattaya. And for this video, I'm gonna call it Pattaya, and I'm gonna try to just stick with that, not Pattaya, Pattaya, or Pattaya, because I think those are the other three uses of the word Pattaya. And Fi said it's fine. You can say it any way you want. Nobody cares. Thai people don't care. And so hopefully you other Farangs watching my channel don't care how I say it. But for this video, we're going to call it Pattaya. And you can't talk about Pattaya without having a beer. So I just cracked open a beer. So I'm going to tell you, initially when I got out of quarantine in November, my plan probably wasn't, when I should say when I came to Thailand, my plan wasn't really to stay in Pattaya. Last year, before the situation, I had got to Thailand last January, and I spent my first, I was in Bangkok, then I spent about two and a half weeks in Pattaya, and this is when it was, you know, tourist strong, lots of people running around, and it was just too crazy, too crowded. You know, I like coming here for a week or a few days or whatever, but it's just too crowded, too crazy, and there's just too much drinking going on. You can still go around and check out different things, but I didn't have transportation last year, and it was just kind of me and people I met. So after about 2 weeks, I got sick of Pattaya, and I ventured out and, you know, to a bunch of different places in Thailand. So I saw a lot of the country. Then when I got back here this year, November, and started looking around, I soon realized between talking to people and looking around a little bit that everything was pretty dead. There's just nothing really going on. And if there is anything going on, Pattaya had the most going on. So I went over, I looked at Jomtien, looked at Pattaya, and I found that Pattaya was not crazy with tourists. There was, you know, quite a few expats there, which I like. I like, you know, talking to the other expats and whatnot. And it was great. It was great. The restaurants were open, the bars were open, and, you know, there was just nothing going on anywhere else, really. So I looked around at condos, and I did like Grand Avenue the most out of all the condos I looked at. And, you know, it was okay. So living in Pattaya with no transportation is kind of a no-brainer. I mean, you know, you got everything there. You got the malls, the beach. You can take the bus around a little bit. Lots of places to go eat. It's just kind of a no-brainer. You can meet a lot of people to hang out with, this and that. Something that was very important to me, though, was to be able to go to the beach and swim in the ocean. If I'm going to be in Thailand, I want to feel tropical. I want to feel like I can just go down my street, go for a dip in the ocean whenever I want, and not worry about like the water being dirty, like some people worry about at Pattaya Beach. I said Pattaya, Pattaya Beach. And so I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know how contaminated it is. It's probably pretty clean right now because there's not much going on. But you know, generally speaking, it's kind of a known thing. You don't swim in the water over there, although I see some people doing it. But I wanted to move to possibly maybe Phuket or Koh Samui. I like those places, and I love those beaches there and everything. Well, then we started into the third wave here, and I really couldn't get down to the places I wanted to look around at. And then I happened to find my condo, which you know, I'm only like a half hour or so away from Pattaya, and I'm close to Bang Saleh, which is another kind of cool beach fishing restaurant town that I like. And down here, it seems like the water's cleaner. I've talked to locals, I've talked to some other people, and everybody swims over here. And it just feels more island-like. I mean, I'm a little ways away from the city, but not that far. If I need to go get something, I just run down to the city, and I can go get it. If I want to go to the mall, want to go to the movie, but really, it's just hard to say right now because nothing's been open. Since I moved, there's no bars, restaurants. I'm not doing anything anyways. But I think when it comes down to it, I'm only going to go to Pattaya maybe for bars, maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times a month. So, you know, do I got to live right in the busy city and deal with all the tourists when they come back? You know, I mean, I'm one of the tourists. I was last year. It's not that big of a deal, but you do get some obnoxious people, you know. And when everybody and the big buses from China come and they're blowing smoke up my ass, and I mean, if you've ever been on a soy and you got these buses coming down and you just smell it, and it's just not a place I really want to be. I just don't want to be right in the city. We went there yesterday, and there was just so much traffic. And it's not even, you know what's going on right now. So how is there that much traffic? Is it because they just reopened the beach? I don't know. But I don't want to deal with that. So I'm about a half hour away, and I got the best of both worlds. I got a beautiful beach I can go to. You know, there's a pool over here, and it's quiet, and there's nothing going on. And, you know, we have a car, so I can get wherever I need to get. I might get a motorbike later. But, all right, so on to where I lived. I lived at Grand Avenue. And I'm going to tell you what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. And some of these things aren't specific to Grand Avenue. It would be that way for any condo that's one of these big commercial ones with, you know, 1 million units and this and that. So give you a couple. I'm not going to go in any order. I'll say some things I liked, some things I didn't like. There was issues with the elevator in my unit. It always seemed like one or other, there was 2 elevators, and usually one was down. And there's a lot of people coming and going. I was in building D, and sometimes you got to wait and this and that, and you know, so that's a negative. Another negative is there was a lot of problems with the water, a little bit with the water pressure. They were always working on the water outside of my room. Like there's a hole in the wall kind of outside my room where they kept working on the water. And actually, when I was moving out, I was over here for about 3 days, and I went over there to meet my my old property manager to give her the keys, and the bum gun top shot off. Like the pressure exploded off, and it blew a hole in the ceiling, which you can see the video. I'll put a link. It's in one of the videos from a few weeks ago. I'll put a link up there so you can see about that. So that was another negative. Another negative is it was a brand new unit, and no one ever lived in it. And right when I moved in, start running the air conditioner, it started leaking down into the house. You know, brand new. My microwave didn't work. It was a convection oven microwave. They had to come out about 3 times, and finally they just had to replace the microwave and put a new one in. And they did something where they took apart the air conditioner and cleaned out the lines, and it worked for a while, but about 3.5 months later, it started leaking again. I had the guy come and clean it out again. He goes, "Oh, you need to, you know, it's not really our responsibility of the building. You should have this professionally cleaned." I'm like, I've been living here 3 months. Why? It's, you know, it's a brand new unit. Why would it have to be? Let's just put it this way. If I own that unit, I'd be pissed off. But I'm not the owner. I was just a tenant. What else? 47 square meters. So it was a decent sized unit. The prices are good over there. But, you know, a year from now, maybe the prices are going to be 10,000 more baht. You know, would I want to pay 25,000 baht for that place? I don't know if I would. I ended up with I thought I would like the pool facing room, which those are usually more expensive. Those are usually more wanted, you know, more desired. And the ones that faced away from the pool on the other side were terrible views. You know, nobody wants that. But anyways, I barely spent any time on the patio. The patio. You're just looking right across at the other people across and the building, and it wasn't that exciting. The pool, you go down to the pool, and if you're there in the sweet spot, say maybe on my side, early in the morning till about 4 o'clock, you know, you could have sun. But then after 4, like sometimes I like to go out at 4 o'clock, 3:30, and you got to move your chair over, and there's a certain area where, you could just barely get an angle of the sun, and then it's gone. And, so, it looks beautiful having that, like ravine type pool that goes all the way around the whole building. But the negative part of that is, you could lose the sun, and you just don't have the sun all day when you have that type of situation. The positives. I guess every room is different. I really like the decor of my room. The landlord had some, like around the TVs, he did like this accent walls. I really liked that. It looked nice. The backsplash in the kitchen was like this blue glass. I mean, it was a sharp looking unit. It really was. Everybody I, showed it to, they really liked it. My bed, you could rent a unit with any bed. The bed was mediocre. It wasn't the hardest bed I found. It wasn't the softest bed. When I moved out, the first thing I did was throw away the bed, or I sold it for a couple $100 and just bought a new bed at this place. But you can't beat the location if you want to be in the center of the action, Some guys like to, go party every night. And if that's what you want to do in Pattaya, that's a great location. I mean, you want to have guests in and out all the time and have the security. The security there, I'm going to tell you the good and bad of it, but they were really good. I like those guys, and they kept it a tight ship there. Tight ship. I saw like they have like a Rolodex of all these IDs of guests that come there, and I mean they're pretty good about not letting people in that aren't supposed to be in the place. The only negative was kind of at the end. Every time I wanted to go home and pull in or walk in, they took my temperature, which was like, I live here. Like, I don't know. That just seemed like a little bit too much. Like, I live here. I don't want to have to take my temperature every time I come and go. What if I get food poisoning and I get a temperature? What are you going to say? Like, oh, you got COVID. Go to the hospital. I don't. I live there. That's my business. But I understand, I guess. I'm not really sure because, I'm paying long-term rent and I live there. So kind of a rant. Let me think what else I liked about the place. The gym was awesome. I really liked the gym. Of course, no fault of the management at the place, but that got shut down. So there was probably half the time that I lived there I didn't get to use the gym. The pool got shut down. No fault of theirs. The pool was a decent temperature. I think one good thing with the shading is it didn't get like so hot where you're like, oh, this is just too hot in this pool. It was a comfortable pool. It was nice. Now, when I first got there in December, it was actually a little cold, but as it warmed up a little bit and got into the hot season, that was pretty refreshing. I liked that. Another good thing about the unit not being overly big is, pretty easy to keep clean. The bathroom, had that rainfall shower. That was nice. I kind of missed that. I can live without it. My specific unit did not have a washing machine. And that's something that was no big deal at the time. I mean, I took my clothes to the laundry and had it folded real nice, but now it is kind of nice having a washing machine, being able to just wash the clothes. So that's something you might want to look at. Other things you may want to look at when you're renting a place over there, and not specifically just that one, is your rate that you're going to pay for electricity. My specific unit was not the government rate, so I was paying like 5 baht per unit or something, and I don't know what's the government rate, like 4 baht or something like that. And they told me that the landlord, the owner, had to like physically be here to change that or something, to put it into the government's rate. I don't know if they were blowing smoke up my ass or not, but I wasn't the owner, so I wasn't able to change that. And he was in Australia, so he couldn't change it. So I was stuck paying a little higher rate, which, I knew that going into it, but I liked, out of the units I looked at, I liked the decor and everything of that one the most. Why did I pick Grand Avenue over the other places at that time? I really thought I would like that pool, and I really didn't like it that much. I mean, the waterfall sound was really nice. There was only a limited amount of chairs out there, and, by the end, half of them were broken. And I asked them in the juristic office, can you replace them? They just said, well, we don't have extra money right now to replace pool chairs. So that kind of pissed me off a little bit. Real tight on security, though. You got to report your license plate, and they got like a license plate reader to make sure all the right cars are in there. What else? So if you don't run your air in that place, you know, it was like an oven in there. When I went back there to turn in my keys, and I had closed it up for a couple of days, and it was like an oven in that place. And let me tell you, when it got like that, one day we went over there to clean after not being there overnight. And I mean, we ran the air con, both units, and it just, you know, it takes like a day to cool that place down. That's another one of my complaints. I guess I have more complaints than I do happiness there. You know, maybe if everything would have stayed open and I was doing more fun stuff, maybe I'd look at it with a better attitude. But just judging the place that I lived, you know, it just was a little too claustrophobic for me. If you're here for a month or under, that type of place is great. And some people can live there for years. I just personally, it's not for me. I like a bigger place. I just can't deal with it. But that's my whiny ass bitch story about living in central Pattaya. Pattaya. What else can I tell you guys? One of the positives of the place is anytime I had any issues with anything, the technicians were there right away, which, you know, it's unfortunate in a brand new unit that I had to have the technicians out so many times. But, you know, I did multiple times for the microwave, a few times for the air conditioner, like I said. The cable there. Let's talk about, no, not the cable. The cable was fine. The cable came with it. I'm not sure if my landlord paid for that or not. Whatever. There was a lot of English channels. I mean, I didn't watch it that much, you know, mostly watch on your phone. But the internet, it was some, I don't remember the name of the company. It wasn't True or 3BB. It was some off-brand company that I've never heard of. And that was my only choice in there. I mean, maybe I could have got like a 5G thingamajiggy that picks up the signal, but I wanted fiber optic or, you know, wired in internet for streaming and everything else. And, you know, when it was working good, it was fine, but it would go out all the time for no reason. And that was my only option. Another complaint. I feel like a bitch. I thought, you know, I knew in my head what I wanted to say, but I didn't think there was going to be this many more negatives than positives. Fuck. I don't know, guys. Sorry. I wish I could give you a better review. I wish I liked the place more. All right, guys. Greeny out. I'm sorry. I got to go. I can't deal with this anymore. It's pissing me off just thinking about it. Adios.